So we go around all the picket lines, you know, and the morale is like sky high. And Shane decides he's got to walk one of the hard hats like a little dog. So he's got it on an elastic outside the vehicle, and we're walking it down to the picket line. We then give one of the hard hats to the people to play soccer with. So they're kicking this supervisor's hat around. And then, you know, the company comes and they've got their injunction, and, you know, they're posting it. And as I pull up to the picket line, one of our people comes running over and says, "Doug, they're following you, get out of here." And as I turn into Airport Road, a truck across the highway that's been sitting there pulls across, starts following me. A truck that was coming towards me sees who I am, flips around, and I'm coming up to the stop sign, and I'm watching them in my rearview mirror because, you know, I'm watching how close they're getting, because I'm thinking now that obviously, you know, they're pissed off because of the hard hat thing, because we made fun of them. And they just beat the picketers up the night before, so I'm thinking that, you know, they're going to give the president a little bit of a shit kick in here. So all of a sudden I look up and I see something white coming out of the corner of my eye, and here's a truck coming right across in front of me before the stop sign. I'm driving like this truck comes across like this. I put the brakes on, and then I realize what's happening. They're going to box me in. So I decide to go around him into the ditch, around the stop sign, and continue down that way. And as I go around, they run right, I run into them, they run into me, and there's this crash. So now I can't go anywhere. So I try driving forward, I can't. I try backing up, I can't. And then I realized, well, if I put it in four-wheel drive, I'm going to have more power. So I put it in four-wheel drive, and I was able to get maybe, I don't know, 18 inches, you know, back and forth to sort of, you know, bring the truck out. And as I was trying to come out, they kept ramming the truck into me to hold me there. And finally, over the course of the road, I was able to get around them and come out onto the highway. You know, the truck now is beginning to make all kinds of noise and smoke and what have you. As I didn't realize at that moment, but the fender must have cut the tire or something, because there's pieces of rubber now starting to come off. So this car is in front of me. This brown truck now is back on the scene beside me. And what they're doing is they're now boxing me in, because there's cars coming towards us on the highway, so I can't go that way. And so I realized they're going to have me stop. So what I decide to do is that I believe that if you're driving at someone and if they see you coming, they will pull over to the side. So I drove half in the lane, half in the wrong lane, watching the cars coming towards me. And that's what they were doing. They were pulling over onto the edge of the road, and we were going by. And as we continue down the road, I'm trying to hold the truck on the road. And then all of a sudden there's no more cars. So this car comes in front again, this truck comes in from the side, and I thought they were going to ram me. I go down into the ditch, and I'm thinking I may roll because there's no front tire now. And this Andy Crocker pulls up on his truck, blocks the driveway. So I then go over the driveway like the Dukes of Hazzard. I hit my head on the roof because, you know, you're going over this culvert. Continue on down for quite a ways, and then realize that, well, you know, there's a telephone pole coming up, so I'm not going to be able to keep going straight. So I got back up onto the road on the side of the road, and I'm driving along maybe 200 feet, 300 feet, and all of a sudden there's this smash. And the next thing I know, I'm slumped over the wheel in the vehicle. I then look up again, and here's the guy that was driving the truck, this Andy Crocker, with a camera or a video thing, videoing me through over the top of this car that's in front of me, through the windshield. And there's now a bunch of people standing beside laughing. And the next thing I know, there's a knocking on the window, and I sort of look up, and there's a RCMP there. I see this person running in from the side, and I sort of turn like this to protect myself because, you know, and see who it is. And here it's the head of Human Resources, Kerry Kopp, running in with these papers, and he throws them in my chest and says, "You've been served." And I go to grab him, fall out of the truck, and as I'm laying on the ground, he looks at the RCMP officer and says, "You're a witness. We just served him with papers."
Jesus Christ.
Then subsequently the ambulance comes, and, you know, I can hear a lot of arguing and stuff because by now, you know, a lot of the staff and picketers have shown up, and everybody's just trying to keep the peace.
Okay, where are you having pain?
My shoulder and lower back.
Did you lose consciousness?
I don't think so. Oh, fuck.
Under your head, is there any blood there?
Jesus Christ, how fucking further can this go? How much more fucking crazy can this go?
And so I'm laying on the ground, and there's dirt in my eyes. You can't see.
You asking for me there?
Somehow, you end up, going to the hospital in the ambulance. We decided to drive out to where the accident occurred, and up until that moment, it was, I guess I thought that, this is just part of the job, this could happen, and when I went back out and looked over the scene and everything and realized that if they had hit me a second later, I would have been into the side of the telephone pole that, I was trying to miss, because it was only like 10 feet in front of the vehicle. And, it could have been dead. I've been at gainers and, and all these things. And this is the first time where I ever actually thought I was going to die. And, and I guess the problem with that is that you continue to relive it. And, each time you think you got it put to bed, something else will come along that will bring it up. The individuals were charged with dangerous driving, causing danger to life, criminal negligence, criminal harassment, criminal intimidation, and there was one other one. They had 5 charges. Now, also along this, on the Saturday, right after the accident, they came and they charged me with 2 counts of mischief for allegedly breaking 2 bus windows the first morning of the strike, and possession of a weapon dangerous to the public. And the possession of the weapon dangerous to the public was that they had affidavits filed by company people saying that I used a pickaxe to break the windows. And what it was the same placard, axe handle that I've had on the picket lines for 20 years. And then a couple of weeks later, I get told by a lawyer that the charges have been stayed against the company. And I asked, of course, what does that mean? And I was told that it means that unless there's new evidence, the charges will be dropped after a year. And, we, of course, objected to that through our lawyer. They have, their argument was that there was not enough evidence to get a conviction, that they believe that they would be unable to prove in court that this occurred. You got 3 vehicles in the ditch. You have a Nissan Armada that the insurance company already paid out $65,000 for, and yet the prosecution claims that they can't prove their case. In the meantime, I have 2 counts of mischief and 1 count of this dangerous weapon, and I can't believe that I'm going to court. And, the lawyers, the best in the business, Alex Pringle, said, look, you're going to be found guilty and you're not going to be able to go to the U.S. And as part of my job as an international vice president is go to meetings in the U.S. 2 or 3 times a year. So finally, 2 days before, he convinces me to plead guilty to one of the charges, and which is 1 count of mischief. But anyhow, I go to Medicine Hat, and I get up before the judge, and the prosecution give their story, and our lawyer goes back through my history, how I've never had anything, like this and all that. And the judge lectures me on how lucky I am that, they've decided this plea bargain, that, I should be very thankful that all I'm getting is 3-month conditional discharge, 3 months probation. Well, I have to go see a probation officer every month. And he's telling me this is such a great deal. And the cost is $330.70 for the 2 windows. That's the cost. And that's all I have to pay is the cost of the windows. So I ended up spending thousands of dollars on a lawyer to be found guilty of a mischief charge that cost $330, and the company people have their charges stayed against them when, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars involved, and yet, you know, nothing happens. And so literally, you know, I'm on probation for 3 years, you know, where, you know, and anything can happen when you're involved in strikes and what have you. So, you know, I get literally a 3-year sentence out of this where, you know, I have to walk on my tiptoes. These individuals get nothing, and, you know, they walk. So to say the least, you know, I'm just a bit bitter, you know, about it.